Dulwich Picture Gallery is a gallery of innovation and challenge.
It was always good fun. You felt you were doing something for the community.
As with concerts here in the gallery and everybody here, the whole place comes alive.
In 2000, when the Queen came to reopen it, it was a great day, and I think everybody had a wonderful time. And the Queen was smiling throughout.
People still wanted this gallery to be here. There are some wonderful exhibitions that have come on, that have brought new people in, different people coming in, people who wouldn't have necessarily come to Dulwich to see an exhibition. Lots of them have said that they love what they've seen and they would like to join as friends.
And tell us what the gallery means to you in one sentence.
No, it means too much.
It's really difficult. If you'd asked me 10 years ago, I would have said it was a community. And I think it still is a community.
Joy, inspiration, innovation and interest. Joy because it lifts the spirits. Every time you come here, whether it's about the building itself or the gardens, whether it's the art, whether it's the opportunity to learn more, all of it is always a joyful, inspiring experience.
If the trustees hadn't had to sell a picture, a painting, in order to keep the gallery open. And then people became aware that the gallery was there, but it was in trouble. And that's why the Friends started, really. And it was through them that electricity was put in here. And it made quite a difference. The difference between when I first came into the gallery in the kind of 60s and now is enormous.
My first introduction to this gallery was through the eyes of a child at a point where I was reasonably young myself.
My mother always encouraged me to go to galleries, and so it was a natural thing when I retired and I was looking for a volunteering role to start getting involved with the gallery.
My mother came to stay to see me in the new home. She said, "Have you been to the gallery?" And I said, "No." And she dragged me off there. She was horrified I hadn't been. But at the time, it wasn't a place that young people went into, not even young mothers. It was very, very quiet. And if you so much as coughed, the wardens would look up and glare at you. When I see the difference now between the young people who do come in, it's lovely. Since the 1960s, I think people are much more welcome in the gallery. It looks good from the outside, and particularly at the moment with the floral display around the door. It is part of the community very much in Dulwich, and when I first moved to Dulwich, I don't think it was. They had no lighting, so in the winter time, the gallery shut mid-afternoon. The Friends gave the money to install some lighting. So then it was open during winter time. Eventually, even that lighting became out of date. And so when we closed for the restoration and rebuild, they redid the lighting and it's even more sophisticated now.
After the gallery was opened, after its restoration, because we were very lucky that we suddenly had this beautiful restored gallery. There was a cafe, there were proper loos, and there was a wonderful library room which could be used for exhibitions, and it could also be used for lectures. People came to see the new gallery and then took part in all the events. Friends Committee, and we used to plan events, and various people volunteered to take on different things like the concerts and the walks and tours and the lectures. We once had a fashion show in the gallery, but the catwalk was all down the middle of the gallery. But everybody who did it enjoyed it, and did it because they wanted to help the gallery.
Organising, I suppose I could call them banquets here in the gallery, for 100 people. We did it twice in the 50th anniversary year. And it was all enormous fun to do. And the gallery, of course, as with concerts in the gallery, when the lighting is on, and everybody here, the whole place comes alive. But what gives you pleasure is seeing visitors looking at the pictures and appreciating them.
The children would look up and around and it was lovely to see that.
And this couple said their grandchild had enjoyed it so much that they decided that they would come and have a look. So I always thought that was a great way of getting more people to come to the gallery.
The mailing. We used to do it first of all on our dining room tables or kitchen tables. There weren't very many friends. But as the numbers grew, when we had our 50th anniversary and we were striving to bring the numbers up, it became impossible. So we started using the library room for a mailing. And I used to have 16 people coming down in the morning, stuffing envelopes, chatting away, having a cup of coffee. And then I had 90 people coming down with 90 mailing groups, and they went out and poked the envelopes through the doors of the people in their roads who were friends. And it was a social occasion.
That was a really fun day because people would come and they'd sit and chat, and we'd have coffee and cakes made by Jill. Probably 2,000 were delivered by hand.
So when I became membership secretary in 2014, 6,000 friends, and by 2.5 years later, we had grown to about 8,000. The Friends was an incredible voluntary organisation, but it was getting too big, if you like, to be entirely volunteer run. It was around about 2016, there was a vacancy as Friends membership secretary, and I took on that role, which continued up until we merged the two charities of the Friends and the Picture Gallery. They're no longer two separate but intimately related charities. Now they are one. But many of the Friends Committee, I know, are still hugely involved, and there are many other volunteer roles here. And I'm sure the gallery is just delighted to have so many local volunteers taking such a large role and interest. We do have to make sure that the next generations are as inspired as and enjoy this building, these pieces of art, these beautiful surroundings, as much as those of us who are somewhat older.
The difference between when I first came into the gallery in the kind of 60s and now is enormous. The village and the local people are very aware of the gallery and its importance in the community. And it is very unusual to have a picture gallery like this, the first purpose-built art gallery here in the middle of suburban London.